Distress signal from rescueME EPIRB2 leads to rapid rescue by US Coast Guard. Around 3 p.m. Tuesday, December 3, 2024, the vessel, a new 47-foot sailboat, began a transit from Annapolis, Maryland, to its intended destination to Charleston, South Carolina. Crewed initially by 4 experienced sailors with many years of offshore sailing experience. The vessel arrived at Little Creek, Norfolk, Virginia at approximately 10:30 a.m. December 4, 2024, and took a mooring berth at Morningstar Marina, Norfolk. Due to adverse conditions, the vessel remained in Norfolk until around 12:30 p.m., December 6, 2024. At which time conditions had improved to allow the vessel to continue its transit, with 2 additional experienced crew members for a total of 6 crew, on or about 2 p.m. On December 6, 2024, the vessel began to take on water in the bow section of the vessel. At this time, the vessel was in the vicinity of Frying Pan Shoals, North Carolina, roughly 20 miles offshore southeast of Southport, North Carolina. Conditions were sunny, with air and sea temperatures approximately in the low 60s. Wind was 15 to 20 knots from the southwest. Seas were moderate with some confused wave action. The crew inspected all through hulls and other areas of potential water ingress, but no area of ingress was visible. The water appeared to be entering the boat from the forwardmost bulkhead. The crew used buckets and a dry vac to attempt to keep up with the water ingress, but were quickly overwhelmed. The bilge pump was also not staying ahead of the water coming into the boat. We were not able to visually identify the source of the water ingress, but we suspect that the source was in the sail locker bow thruster area. Approximately 20 minutes after first noticing water, we activated the EPIRB, an ocean signal rescueME EPIRB2, and established radio contact with the US Coast Guard. Within less than 20 minutes, water had reached 12 to 18 inches above the floorboards and the vessel was losing its electronics. I instructed the crew to deploy the life raft. Shortly thereafter, we noticed smoke or steam coming from the cabin. I instructed the crew to get into the life raft. We remained in contact with the US Coast Guard, who had advised that they had received our EPIRB signal and had deployed assets to our location. We had a handheld VHF, EPIRB, and satellite telephone in the life raft for communications. Given that the Coast Guard had our location and we were able to communicate with the Coast Guard, we decided to cut the life raft away from the vessel to avoid contact with it if it capsized or submerged. The Coast Guard arrived within an hour of our first call, rescued all of the crew, and brought them back to the Coast Guard station at Oak Island, North Carolina by nightfall. This required transferring the crew from the life raft to a Coast Guard rib, then from the rib to a 47-foot Coast Guard vessel, all in open ocean with large waves. The Coast Guard personnel were extremely skilled and professional. There were no injuries sustained by any crew or first responders. I, along with my wife, own the vessel. I have an active 50-ton Masters US Coast Guard license with sailing and towing endorsements. It was first issued over 20 years ago in July 2004. I have owned and operated 5 yachts of increasing size and complexity for over 30 years. Both Power and Sail have sailed innumerable offshore sailing races to as far away as Bermuda and Halifax, Nova Scotia, and cruised extensively in the Caribbean and Bahamas. This was the first time that I ever had to deploy a life raft or activate an EPIRB. I am thankful to the Coast Guard and Ocean Signal for the outstanding effectiveness and reliability of their product. I feel secure knowing I have such a product on board. Words of wisdom. Life rafts are small. Get one that holds more people than you anticipate for crew. Have the life raft and EPIRB in a place where they are easy to find and can be deployed quickly. Have safety briefings with crew before going offshore on the location and operation of all safety equipment on board. Thank you note to the Ocean Signal team. The EPIRB worked flawlessly. It was comforting to know that the Coast Guard had our location. Thank you.